Hello, and welcome to the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi Area's Candidate Forum. I am Eli McKay, Vice President of Voter Services, and on behalf of Catherine Oler, President of the Corpus Christi League, it is my pleasure to welcome you. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We neither support nor oppose candidates of any political party. Since its founding more than 75 years ago, the League's mission has been to promote voter awareness of candidates and issues, and to encourage individuals not only to register to vote, but also to vote in all elections. This forum was recorded on Monday, October the 10th, and later posted to the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters Facebook and YouTube pages. Recordings of this event may not be used without express written approval of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area. The League will only allow audio or video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by media reporting on the event. Joining me tonight are Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and President Oler, who will serve as the timekeeper for this forum. This forum features the two candidates for the Texas State Senate District 20. That race is between Wesley Wright and Juan Chuy Hinojosa. Tonight, Senator Hinojosa is able to join us. Unfortunately, Wesley Wright was unable to, but we will proceed with the forum, allowing Senator Hinojosa his time. Here's how the forum will proceed. Each candidate will be allowed 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute for a closing statement. Between those statements, candidates will be asked 3 issue-focused questions by the moderator, and candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question. Rebuttals are not allowed, and in unusual cases in which a candidate makes a reference to the position or record of an opponent, a brief 30-second rebuttal may be allowed by the discretion of the moderator. If mentioning opponents continues, the candidate will be muted by the Zoom flight director. A countdown timer will appear to remind you of your time limits. When your time is up, please finish your sentence and yield the floor, or you will be muted. All right, let's go ahead and begin this candidate forum. So, Senator Hinojosa, here I will give you your 2 minutes for an opening statement.
He's muted.
I was born and raised in the Rio Grande Valley. I'm a third-generation Texan. I come from a large family. I'm 11. My father was a truck driver. My mother was a farm worker. But I learned to work hard at a very young age. I will also say that education was very much key to our success in our family. My mom and dad always pushed to get an education, best equalizer we have in our society. After high school, I joined the United States Marine Corps, served in Vietnam for a 13-month tour where I learned to appreciate our country and our freedom and our liberty. I came back and graduated from Penn American University in 2.5 years with honors, working 35 hours a week. For me, I feel that it's very important that we elect someone that has the experience, someone that also has been very effective, and I have proven to be an effective leader in the Texas legislature. I would ask for your support. I have pushed for sensible solutions to very complicated problems. I have become vice chair of finance, which deals with a budget of $254 billion. My approach to government is public policy. How do we make government work? How do we solve problems? Focusing on bread and butter issues such as healthcare, education, jobs, economic development, our internet, trying to close the digital divide. So for me, it's a blessing that I have the support, and I've been reelected numerous times and continue to be your state senator.
Thank you so much for that opening statement, sir. All right, I'll start with question one. Question one. What can be done to ensure that all Texans have sufficient power during extreme weather conditions?
That's a very good question, and we've been working on trying to make sure that our power grid is reformed in terms of having the capacity to be able to deliver electricity to all our homes during a crisis, such as when Winter Storm Uri hit. We actually discovered many weaknesses that existed in our grid. So what we did was completely replace the ERCOT board that manages the grid, plus the Public Utility Commission, by placing people in there that understood the needs. And we are reforming the system by requiring that we weatherize our power generation and our grid lines to make sure that we're able to provide the energy that is needed by our families. Keep in mind that Texas is growing by 1,200 people a day. So we have to continue to expand and work to making sure that that type of failure that we experienced under Uri does not happen again.
Thank you so much. Question 2 for you, sir, is what policy changes are needed so the U.S. immigration system is effective while treating immigrants humanely?
Well, first of all, I support immigration, but in a legal, orderly way. What's happening right now is that our border is really out of control. We have to reform our immigration laws. What we have in place is not working right now, but it's important for us to provide support border security. We need to protect our families while we are treating families in a humanitarian way when they come across and surrender to Border Patrol, surrender to DPS. At the same time, we have large gaps along the border where you have male adults coming across. They have criminal records, belong to cartels, to gangs. So we need to have better security in our border. Main thing is we need to reform immigration, working together, both Democrats and Republicans, to reform the system that we have in place that's not working.
All right, awesome. And moving on to question 3. Question 3 is, what steps, if any, should be taken by Congress to curb gun violence in our communities?
Well, I am a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I also have a license to carry. But I think we need some sensible gun safety laws. For example, I support raising the age to purchase a battlefield type of weapon, such as happened in Uvalde. You should not be able to purchase a AR-15, for example, that is really a combat for war type of rifle if you're 18. You ought to be at least 21 and do a criminal background check. I also support red flag laws that identify people who have mental issues and mental challenges to provide due process to remove those guns and those weapons away from that person until that person gets the proper help and assistance. If we've had those laws in place, Uvalde will never happen.
Thank you so much. And so we have come to the point where you can provide a closing statement, sir. You'll have 1 minute to provide your closing statement.
I'm asking for the voters to please vote for me and support me for my re-election. I have worked very hard to gain the trust of my colleagues in the leadership. I've been considered consistently as one of the top legislators in the state of Texas. I chair very powerful committees only because I do a very good job and focus on the necessities and priorities that our families have. I know my district very well, and I get feedback. I listen to constituents and public officials, and then I focus on those priorities, what I call the bread and butter issues: healthcare, education, affordable jobs, and more important, public safety for our kids and mental health issues that we're trying to address by providing with $300 million by creating a mental health child consortium during the last 2 sessions.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Senator Hinojosa, for joining us. Thank you to Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and Debbie Noble, director of our website and social media, for making this virtual forum possible. The League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area appreciates these candidates not only for their belief in the democratic process that we believe in and enjoy in our nation, but also for their commitment to public service and sacrifices they have made to participate in the campaign process. Thank you.
Well, thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Hello and welcome to the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi Area Candidate Forum. My name is Eli McKay and I'm the Vice President of Voter Services. On behalf of Catherine Oler, our President of the Corpus Christi League, it is my pleasure to welcome you here. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We neither support nor oppose candidates of any political party. Since its founding more than 75 years ago, the League's mission has been to promote voter awareness of candidates and issues, and to encourage individuals not only to register to vote, but also to vote in all elections. This forum was recorded on Monday, October the 10th, and later posted to the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters Facebook and YouTube pages. Recordings of this event may not be used without express written approval of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area. The League will only allow audio or video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by media reporting on the event. Joining me this evening are Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and President Oler, who will serve as the timekeeper for this forum. This forum features two candidates for the Texas State Senate, District 27. This race is against Adam Hinojosa and Morgan Lamantia. This evening, Morgan Lamantia is able to join us, and unfortunately, Adam Hinojosa was unable to, but we will continue with the forum and allow Morgan the time to answer the questions. Here is how this forum will proceed. Each participating candidate will be allowed 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute for a closing statement. Between those two statements, candidates will be asked 3 issue-focused questions by the moderator, and candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question. Rebuttals are not allowed in unusual cases, which a candidate may make a reference to the position or record of an opponent. A brief 30-second rebuttal may be allowed at the discretion of the moderator. If mentioning opponents continues, the candidate will be muted by our Zoom flight director. A countdown timer will appear to remind you of your time limits. And when time is up, please finish your sentence and yield the floor, or you will be muted. And with that, we can begin this candidate forum. So you'll have 2 minutes, Morgan, for a 2-minute opening statement.
Right. So my name's Morgan Lamantia, and I'm running for State Senate for District 27. I'm running for a couple reasons, but a big part of that is my grandfather. My grandfather came to South Texas when he was 17 years old without a high school degree, and he started working on farms, and he grew his own business from there. He grew it into a farming business, into a ranching business, and now it's LNF Distributors, which has 1,200 jobs, and that's 1,200 jobs with healthcare. And there's specific reasons why I talk about my grandfather. It's because he's the reason I believe in the American dream, why each generation should work hard to make it easier and better for the next generation. I also talk about him because of gratitude, because I know that I would not be here today running for this seat if it wasn't for his sacrifices and the sacrifices my parents made to make sure that I could be here. And it's also because, even though he grew up differently than I did, he instilled in me the values I still hold dear today. And that's work hard, support your family, and serve others. And that's why I'm running today. And that's what I want to do. I want to serve our community, make sure that our community gets what we need. And we're not asking for handouts, just an opportunity so we can show you what we can do. Because what we need down here is money for our infrastructure and our roads and our drainage systems. What we need is money for our public education system. so that we can fund programs to make sure our kids get those higher paying jobs, our teachers get paid what they deserve, and that our schools are safe and our families and our kids are safe. And we need to make sure that we have health care and we make sure that it's accessible and it's affordable. And the first step we can take there is with Medicaid and expanding Medicaid. So these are reasons why I'm running. These are some of my priorities, and I can't wait to hear from the League of Women Voters and really get to know this community so that I can support the diversity this district represents.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your opening statement. Moving on to question number 1. What can be done to ensure that all Texans have sufficient power during extreme weather conditions?
So we know during the last session that they passed some laws to really start to make sure that our plants are weatherized. However, we didn't go far enough. We need to make sure that our gas companies and their gas pipelines are also weatherized, because a lot of our power plants, the majority of them still run on gas. And was a big issue with what happened during our freeze. We need to make sure that there's accountability across the board, that not only are we passing these laws, but we're following up, we're holding people accountable, we're making sure that these industries are holding up their side of the bargain. They're making sure that they're weatherized as well. And we need to expand our electric grid. We need bigger transmission lines. We need to make sure that we're incorporating solar and wind energy, because we saw during this summer when we were hitting triple-digit temperatures, we didn't have to go into blackouts because of the help from solar, because of the help from wind. And those are steps we can take. And it's not one or the other. It's making sure that oil and gas, wind and solar are working together. And we see that here in District 27 more than anywhere else across the state.
Thank you so much for that. Question number 2 is, what policy changes are needed so the U.S. immigration system is effective while treating immigrants humanely at the same time?
So when we talk about the immigration system, here in South Texas, we've been talking about the same issue for decades, for it feels like a century almost. We've been asking DC for comprehensive immigration reform, and we still haven't gotten it. However, right now, we are having a spotlight shown on South Texas. We have people actually looking and talking to people on the border about what's going on. And that is key to finding real solutions, long-lasting solutions to our immigration issues and making sure it's humane. We need to make sure that people on the border, these border voices, are brought into those conversations, that they are at the table when these discussions are being had, so that we have long-lasting solutions that actually affect everyone that lives in these situations every day. We also need to make sure that we have more immigration courts and we can process asylum seekers much faster, that we can make sure that everyone has what they need, and we're not keeping people long-term in detainment centers, that our courts have the resources they need. A lot of these issues are at the federal level, but what's so important at the state level is that we elevate those border voices and bring them into those conversations.
Great. And moving on to question 3 is, what steps, if any, should be taken by Congress to curb gun violence in our communities?
So at the state level, there are certain steps that we need to start taking. And I've spoken to many people across the district, to sheriffs and police chiefs, to school administrators, school boards, teachers, and parents. And whether they're Republican or Democrats, or from the coastal bend or the valley, there's a strong agreement that we need to have background checks. We need red flag laws in place, and we need to raise the age limit for purchasing AR rifles from 18 to 21. And these are just small steps we can start to take to make sure that everyone feels safe. And when we pass gun laws, when we look at what rights should be there, we need to talk to our law enforcement officers, because they're the ones that are involved in a lot of these situations. They understand what they need, and we need to keep having those conversations and making sure that we respect our law enforcement officers in those conversations as well.
Great. Well, those are the 3 questions that we had for you this evening. And that leads us to the 1-minute closing statement that you have.
Got it. Well, first, I want to say thank you so much for putting on this forum and give me an opportunity to speak so that the voters can be educated when they go to the polls. And I hope everyone in y'all's organization and everyone who watches this remembers to go out and vote, but also takes their friends, their colleagues, and their coworkers, because it's so important we have that voter turnout so we can make sure that our issues are priority come this next session, because our leadership in Austin does look at voter turnout. Everyone's vote counts. My name is Morgan Lamantia. I'm running for Senate District 27. I hope I can earn your vote, and I hope we can work together to make Texas and District 27 a better place. So thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you so much. And I also want to say thank you to Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and also to Debbie Noble, our director of our website and social media, for making this virtual forum possible. The League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area appreciates these candidates not only for their belief in the democratic process that we enjoy in our nation, but also for the commitment to public service and the sacrifices that they have made to participate in the campaign process. So thank you again for the time.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi Area's Candidate Forum. My name is Eli McKay. I'm the Vice President of Voter Services. And on behalf of Catherine Oler, President of the Corpus Christi League, it is my pleasure to welcome you here. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We neither support nor oppose candidates of any political party. Since its founding more than 75 years ago, the League's mission has been to promote voter awareness of candidates and issues, and to encourage individuals not only to register, but also to vote in all elections. This forum was recorded on Monday, October the 10th, and later posted to the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters Facebook and YouTube pages. Recordings of this event may not be used without the express written approval of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area. The League will only allow audio or video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by media reporting on the event. Joining me this evening are Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and President Oler, who will serve as the timekeeper for this forum. This forum features two candidates for the Texas State Representative, District 34, Carolyn Vaughn and Representative Abel Herrero. Unfortunately, Carolyn Vaughn was unable to join us this evening, so Representative Herrero will have his time and we will proceed with the forum. And here is how this forum will proceed. Each candidate will be allowed 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute for a closing statement. Between those two statements, candidates will be asked 3 issue-focused questions by the moderator, and candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each of those questions. Rebuttals are not allowed, and in unusual cases in which a candidate makes a reference to the position or record of an opponent, a brief 30-second rebuttal may be allowed at the discretion of the moderator. If mentioning opponents continues, the candidate will be muted by the Zoom flight director. A countdown timer will appear to remind you of your time limits. And when your time is up, please finish your sentence and yield the floor, or you will be muted. So with that, let's go ahead and begin this forum. Mr. Herrero, if you can, your 2-minute opening statement.
Yes, thank you. And thank you everyone watching in the League of Women Voters for allowing us to be able to address you as voters. Many times when people go to vote, they ask themselves a couple of questions. Who can I rely on? Who's actually done some work for me? And who's actually just making promises, if you will? I hope that I've earned your trust and your confidence in representing you as your state representative for District 34. And over the last 2 years, all of us know that the cost of prices have gone up. I was shocked the last time that I went to the dollar store and had to pay $4 for a loaf of bread. This is why I think it's important that you know what I've done to try to help you as a constituent in the years that I've served as District 34 representative. First, I've worked with Republicans and Democrats to ensure that TWIA does not increase the insurance rates. We were successful this past August in making sure that there were no rate increases. Second, I've worked repeatedly to file legislation that would increase the homestead exemption to reduce your property taxes because it helps working families. I will continue to push forward on this fight. I also believe that the state could do more to help ensure the integrity of our electric grid. This is why I'm working to push on the utility companies to ensure that they provide reliable and services at a reasonable cost. Also want to make sure that we work on providing services in our public schools to our public school teachers to increase the pay they receive, to help retired teachers receive benefits, not just a 13 check, but that so they can also receive Social Security, that we provide protection for our schools and our teachers, that we make sure that we eliminate standardized tests, that we provide mental health counselors in our public schools, that I continue to work to help end domestic violence and help survivors rid themselves of the abusers. We work to provide the benefits for our soldiers who have earned the care that they deserve. And this is why I'm able, Federal State Representative District 34, asking for your support and your vote.
Great. Thank you, sir, for that opening statement. Starting with question number one. Question number one is, what can be done to ensure that all Texans have sufficient power during extreme weather conditions?
Obviously, ensuring the integrity of our grid, which is what I mentioned in my opening statement. As Vice Chair of Energy Resources, we work to provide the communication between agencies, creating the ability to provide services, identifying individuals that are essential personnel, and that includes you as a constituent. If you are an individual that relies on services, whether it be a breathing apparatus or something to make sure that you remain healthy, we've identified, or you've been encouraged to identify yourself to the utility services company so that we can make sure that under all circumstances that you maintain the power that you have to ensure your safety. We've ensured the integrity and communication between agencies to make sure that there is a reliable service. And again, I will continue to push utility service companies to ensure that they provide reliable services at a reasonable cost.
Great. Moving on to question two. Question two is, what policy changes are needed so the U.S. immigration system is effective while treating immigrants humanely at the same time?
You know, while this is an issue that is a federal issue, it nevertheless affects all of us, especially here in Texas, which is why I worked with the governor's office to ensure that we provide resources for our DPS personnel that are working across the state, especially along the border. We also make sure that we provide, you know, the information that we need to provide to our federal counterparts to make sure that they pass comprehensive immigration reform so that individuals that qualify to be in the United States are eligible to run through the process that they're supposed to qualify and to help prevent individuals from coming across the border illegally.
All right. And question three for you, sir, is what steps, if any, should be taken by Congress to curb gun violence in our communities?
Obviously, gun violence is affecting all of us, especially when you consider the community of Uvalde here in Texas. Other communities have been affected, and even most recently here, guns have been brought to campus. Obviously, ensuring responsible gun ownership is a priority, especially as individuals who have children in school, to make sure that those guns are securely in safe places, making sure that we provide the ability for mental health awareness as well as services, which is why I've advocated that we have mental health counselors in our public schools, making sure that we provide the services that they would need to address the concerns before they happen. And then also work with our local school districts to ensure that they have the resources and personnel needed to ensure the training, the resources and the capacities and the safety measures in place to help prevent any sort of situation from occurring again.
Great. Well, those are the three questions we had prepared for you, sir, and you'll have now a 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you again, the League of Women Voters, all the voters, everybody that is listening. I hope again that I've earned your trust. I want to continue to represent you in your capacity, in the capacity as a state representative. I humbly ask for your support and your vote. I'm ready, willing, and able to work on the issues that are important to you, making sure that we provide reliable services at a reasonable cost on the utility grid, making sure that we reduce our property taxes by increasing the homestead exemption, making sure that we provide increase in pay for teachers, increase the benefits for retired teachers on the 13 check, as well as Social Security benefits, making sure that we provide the services to our soldiers who have earned the care, and make sure that we provide assistance to domestic violence survivors that are trying to escape from their abusers. These are all our issues that are important, and I want to continue to represent you in the capacity as a state representative, again, because I am ready, willing, and able. I humbly ask for your support and your vote.
Well, thank you again, Representative Herrero. I also want to say thank you to Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and Debbie Noble, director of our website and social media, for helping to make sure this virtual forum was possible. The League of Women Voters in the Corpus Christi area appreciates these candidates not only for their belief in the democratic process that we enjoy in our nation, but also for the commitment to public service and the sacrifices they have made to participate in the campaign process. So thank you again for attending our forum.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi Area's Candidate Forum. My name is Eli McKay, and I am the Vice President of Voter Services. And on behalf of Catherine Oler, President of the Corpus Christi League, it is my pleasure to welcome y'all here. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We neither support nor oppose candidates of any political party. Since its founding more than 75 years ago, the League's mission has been to promote voter awareness of candidates and issues and encourage individuals not only to register to vote, but also to vote in all elections. This forum was recorded on Monday, October the 10th, and later posted to the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters Facebook and YouTube pages. Recordings of this event may not be used without the express written approval of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area. The League will only allow audio or video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by media reporting on the event. Joining me this evening are Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and President Oler, who will serve as the timekeeper for this forum. And this forum features two candidates for District Judge, 117th Judicial District. Those candidates are Susan Barclay and Selena Lopez Leon. And here is how this forum will proceed. Each participating candidate will be allowed a 2-minute opening statement and a 1-minute closing statement. Between those statements, each candidate will be asked 3 issue-focused questions by the moderator, and candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question. Rebuttals are not allowed in unusual cases in which a candidate makes a reference to the position or record of an opponent. A brief 30-second rebuttal may be allowed at the discretion of the moderator. If mentioning opponents continues, the candidate will be muted by our Zoom flight director. A countdown timer will appear to remind you of your time limits, and when the time is up, please finish your sentence and yield the floor, or you will be muted. With that, let's go ahead and begin this candidate forum. We're going to start with opening statements. You'll have 2 minutes, and we're going to start with Susan Barclay. So if you can, give us your 2-minute opening statement.
Yes, hi, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this candidate forum this evening. I wanted to start with a little background about myself. I am an immigrant to the United States. I arrived here in 1981, started nursing school in 1982. I was a cardiac surgery and critical care nurse for 16 years. And with the Air Force, my husband and I moved to Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. When he separated from the Air Force, I had the opportunity to attend law school. And when I completed that, we relocated to Corpus Christi in 2003, 2004. When I first started working here in Nueces County, I worked with 2 large civil law firms where I practiced a myriad of cases with them, some of them with as many as 6,000 litigants in each case, and gained a lot of valuable experience with those type cases. I've practiced also in federal court. I've practiced in the county courts at law here in Nueces County, as well as the district courts. In 2010, I opened my own law office and worked on family law cases and criminal law cases, practicing in county courts at law as well as the district courts. I also practiced in San Patricio County and Clayburgh counties. 5 years ago, I was appointed as judge of the 4D court here in Nueces County. And I've practiced also in Clayburgh and Duval and Brooks County as a judge in that family court. I have the background and experience to do the job in the 117th District Court. It is a general jurisdiction court. And I have been very honored to have a part in justice for our citizens here in Nueces County.
Thank you so much. And Selena Lopez-Leon, your 2-minute opening statement.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the League of Women Voters, as well as the constituents and all of you who have joined us or will be watching this in the future. Thank you for educating yourselves on the candidates. My name is Selena Lopez-Leon. I'm a judicial candidate running for the 117th District Court. For the last 13 years, I have represented the people of our community to help them achieve justice. And this has been through civil law, through criminal law, and family law. I have worked for a criminal defense firm, for a civil firm, and I have experience in all the arenas that are required of this particular court. When you look up on the Nueces County District Court website what a district court is or does, the first thing that it says is that this is the premier or primary trial court. I am the candidate with trial experience. I think it's incredibly important to have the substantive practical experience in order to preside over trials. I am ready to preside over jury trials on day 1. I have dozens of trials under my belt all over Texas, primarily South Texas, and I have handled over 1,000 more cases all over the state of Texas and all the way up to the Texas Supreme Court. And these have been as a first chair attorney. I have also set a second chair in multiple other cases and trials as well. I became a lawyer to help people and to advocate for individuals who couldn't stand up for themselves. And I advocate for them on a daily basis to the best of my ability to the current day. I look forward to continuing to advocate in the future, but other than that, to preside over cases and provide justice to everybody. So not only advocating for my clients, but if given this opportunity, I would be able to preside over cases to make sure justice is given to every single person that comes in front of the courtroom.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you for those opening statements. And we'll move right into question number 1. For this question, we will start with Selena Lopez-Leon, and second will be Susan Barclay. The question is, given the restrictions that COVID necessitated, how do you propose to deal with the backlog of cases in our local courts?
The first thing that I would be able to do, and I'm experienced to do, is to begin jury trials on day 1. There's a lot of individuals that are waiting and have been waiting for a long time to go to trial and have their day in court. Because I am a trial attorney, I have the experience necessary to be able to preside over the juries, to preside over the individuals and rule on evidence, rules of law in order to in order to preside over these particular types of cases. Secondly, I would provide dockets that are efficient for attorneys coming forward, to have particular dockets set aside for, in criminal cases, for pleas, certain documents set aside for status cases, certain dockets set aside for civil dockets. All of these to differentiate and also be available and be present, work 8 to 5 and do whatever's necessary to address the backlog.
Sorry, I was muted. Do you need me to repeat the question, Judge Barclay?
No, I'm fine with your question. Thank you. So beginning in the 117th District Court, it is a general jurisdiction court, and having practiced civil, criminal, and family law, the 3 types of cases that court hears, I have the experience and background. Also, having been a judge for the last 5 years, I've run very busy dockets. There are days that I've had 80 cases on the docket. I'm very familiar with judicial administration, the staff, how to run a smooth and efficient courtroom. One of the first things that I would do, of course, the judge that has left that court knows those cases intimately. I do not. The first thing that I would do is run a docket summary, find out which cases are criminal, which are civil, and prioritize those. The criminal cases have to go first. There are people that have been presumed innocent until proven guilty, and they need to go to trial first. And of course, the administration is very important. Thank you.
Thank you all for that. And moving on to the next question, and we'll go in the opposite order. So we will start with you, Judge Barclay, and then with you, Selena Lopez-Leon, you'll be second. And question 2 is, what will your policy with regard to continuances? What will be your policy with regard to continuances as a general rule?
As a general rule, continuances, having practiced as an attorney for so many years, they are vital sometimes for the attorneys. Many attorneys here in Nueces County practice in other different counties, and oftentimes conflicts arise with settings. Of course, there cannot be abuse of the continuance process. They must be in writing. There should be a hearing unless they are agreed to. But I would have the attorneys come before me. If it is agreed, then that's something that would be considered, of course. Sometimes there's a lot of discovery and pretrial issues that need to be settled. And oftentimes with certain trial settings, if it's a large case and heavy documents, they can run out of time and need additional time to get that work done. And that's very important.
Okay, same question, and just let me know if you need me to repeat.
I can go forward. Thank you. So continuances will need to be handled on a case-by-case basis. It's going to depend on the type of case, how old the case is, how long it's been on the docket, as well as if the person, if it's a criminal case, is incarcerated or not. We are currently at an over 100% jail capacity, so those cases are going to take precedence. It's also going to depend on if it's a very serious offense with multiple witnesses, if there's outstanding discovery, maybe DNA or lab analysis. A lot of our labs are backed up. If it's a civil type of case, then it's going to depend on if the parties are in agreement or if it's going to be a contested continuance. Obviously, if there's not an agreement, a hearing may be necessary. Their abuse of continuances will not be tolerated. However, the court will consider and should consider any sort of reasonable reason as to why the continuance is needed and take that into consideration.
All right. So for this last question, as you may have guessed, we'll go in the opposite order again, and Selena Lopez-Leon, you'll start, and then we'll go to Judge Barclay next. So question 3 for y'all. What can be done to improve access to justice for all, including persons or groups who may be underserved?
What's incredibly important for people to have access to justice is have individuals sitting on the bench who have the patience and time necessary to give these individuals. Everybody deserves their day in court. There are sometimes in civil as well as criminal cases where there's not going to be an agreement reached, and that's okay. There's not going to be an agreement in all cases, a plea bargain if it's criminal, or just an agreement on a civil matter. And you have to let the individuals know that they're going to have their opportunity, their day in court. I'm never going to rush individuals. I'm going to give them their opportunity to hear the cases and have the time that they need, because these are people's lives that we're talking about. It's not just a case, a name on a piece of paper. It's their lives. It affects not only them, but the rest of the community as well. So everybody has to have that right and that equal access, regardless if they're being represented by an attorney or if they're representing themselves.
Thank you. Same question, Judge Barclay, and let me know if you need me to repeat.
No, that's fine. Thank you. Well, access to justice is an ongoing problem nationally, and it is a problem also here in Nueces County. Oftentimes, there are many people that have a case before a court, perhaps the 117th District Court, and they do not have the funds to hire an attorney, but they need justice in their matter. We have a new mental health grant that was given to by the Texas Indigent Defense Council that will help individuals that have that problem. There's a public defender's office attached to that grant, which will provide attorneys for those people. We have Texas Rural Legal Aid here in the courthouse that people can sign on to and have help with their cases. It is a problem, you know, the people that don't have those benefits of having funds that they can use to hire an attorney, and I would work with those entities. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, we are at the point of the forum where y'all will get a 1-minute closing statement. And for this, we will start with Judge Barclay and move on to Selena Lopez-Leon after that. Your 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you very much for having me here this evening and having the opportunity to speak to the voters here in the Coastal Bend, Nueces County. You know, I often say one of the Bible verses that is most meaningful to me is, to whom much is given, much will be required. I feel very blessed to have had many opportunities in my life, to have had the opportunity to get an education, and I have enjoyed serving the community here in Nueces County. I would like to say, partly in closing, that it would be my policy as well in the 117th not to require mediation. I believe that there are a lot of individuals that want their day in court. They want the judge to hear their issues and their matters, and oftentimes they cannot afford to have the expense of mediation. Again, I'm Judge Susan Barclay. I would appreciate your support and vote come November 8th, this election. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to the League of Women Voters and the individuals that are will be watching this and learning about your candidates. The biggest thing that I would like to stress and for you to take away again is that this 117th District Court is a trial court that needs to be presided over with an individual that has trial experience. And it's imperative. You need to have somebody that's got the experience on day one. Other than that experience, you have to have someone that has a passion for serving their community and for justice. I am from Corpus Christi. My husband is from Corpus Christi. We're raising our 4 children in this community. And I have a strong desire to look out for the future of our community. And I've got a lot at stake with both my children as well as the constituents here. I care very much about what I do and why I'm doing this. And I hope to be able to serve you. So vote Selena Lopez-Leon for 117th District Court Judge. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to both candidates for attending this forum. And a big thank you to Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and Debbie Noble, also our director of our website and social media, for making this virtual forum possible. The League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area appreciates these candidates not only for their belief in the democratic process that we enjoy in our nation, but also for the commitment to public service and the sacrifice that they have made to participate in the campaign process. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. McKay. Thank you, Ms. Oliver. Thank you, Selena.
Thank you, Judge. Y'all take care.
Bye.
Hello and welcome everyone to the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi Area Candidate Forum. My name is Eli McKay. I'm the Vice President of Voter Services. And on behalf of Catherine Oler, our President of the Corpus Christi League, it is my pleasure to welcome y'all here. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We neither support nor oppose candidates of any political party. Since its founding more than 75 years ago, the League's mission has been to promote voter awareness of candidates and issues, and to encourage individuals not only to register to vote, but also to vote in all elections. This forum was recorded on Monday, October the 10th, and later posted to the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters Facebook and YouTube pages. Recordings of this event may not be used without express written permission of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area. The League will only allow audio or video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by media reporting on the event. Joining me this evening are Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and President Oler, who will serve as the timekeeper for this forum. This forum is going to feature two candidates for District Judge, 148th Judicial District. These two candidates are David Klein and Carlos Valdez. And here is how this forum will proceed. Each participating candidate will be allowed a 2-minute opening statement. Sorry, getting a little bit of feedback there. And then you'll get so you'll get a 2-minute opening statement, and then you'll get a 1-minute closing statement. Between those two statements, the candidates will be asked 3 issue-focused questions by the moderators. Candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question. Rebuttals are not allowed. In unusual cases in which a candidate makes a reference to the position or record of an opponent, a brief 30-second rebuttal may be allowed at the discretion of the moderator. If mentioning opponents continues, the candidate will be muted by the Zoom flight director. A countdown timer will appear to remind you of your time limits, and when your time is up, please finish your sentence and yield the floor, or you will be muted. With that, let's begin this candidate forum. We're going to start with a 2-minute opening statement, and we're going to start in the order of David Klein going first and Carlos Valdez going second. Mr. Klein.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum again this year. This forum provides such a service to the voters of our county, and I know that we're all very thankful that y'all do this. My name is David Klein. I'm running for the 148th District Court. I was born and raised in Central Texas to a working class family. My parents taught us 3 things. They taught us the value of hard work, the value of education, and the duty to serve our community. In keeping with that value of hard work, I worked my way through undergraduate and law school at the University of Texas. And after graduating from law school, I moved to Houston and began practicing construction litigation and securities litigation. In 2000, my family and I moved to Corpus Christi, where I started working for a civil defense firm, and then went out on my own in 2006. And since then, I have been practicing family law, criminal defense, and personal injury law. In that time, I have tried every type of case that comes into a district court, and I've developed the experience to do those matters proficiently over the last 15 years. I've continued my service to the community in several different ways. I'm currently the president and an elder at my church, Trinity Our Savior Lutheran Church, and I've served the bar as the president of the criminal section of the Corpus Christi Bar Association and on the board of directors. I'm a member of the Buckarators organization that puts on the yearly Buck Days Parade. And I also am heavily involved this year with Real Men Wear Pink, which is an organization that is raising funds to fight breast cancer. My name is David Klein. I'm asking for your vote in November for the 148th District Court.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. 2 minutes for your opening statement, Mr. Valdez.
Thank you, Ms. McKay. Hello to everybody. Hello to all my friends, all my supporters in the past. My name is Carlos Valdez. And for those of you out there who don't know who I am, I've been serving this community for the last 40 years. I was born and raised here in Corpus Christi. I have lived all my life in Corpus Christi, other than the 3 years that I went to law school in Oklahoma. And as soon as I finished law school, I came right back to where I belong. This is where God put me, and this is where I was raised. So I've lived here all my life. I started serving this community when I was a very young lawyer. I started as an assistant county attorney under Mike Westigren. I had some experience as a defense attorney, and Mike offered me a job and I took it. After that, I was elected county attorney when I was 29 years old. I served this county for 8 years as county attorney, and then I was elected district attorney. I was district attorney for 17 years and personally tried probably the most serious, the most important, the most high-profile cases that this county has ever seen. I tried them personally. After that, I was asked to join the city as city attorney. And so I was city attorney for 4 years and handled some of the most important legal issues on behalf of the city of Corpus Christi. And then I became district judge, and that's the position that I hold now. I'm the district judge in the 148th District Court and have been for the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years. And I'm asking for your vote once again as I ask for 4 more years to allow me to serve you for 4 more years. If you do that, I will continue the hard work that I've had for the last 4 years.
Thank you all both so much for those opening statements, and I'm going to get right into the questions. For this first question, we will start with you, Mr. Valdez, and then we'll go to you, Mr. Klein. So for question number 1, given the restrictions that COVID necessitated, how do you propose to deal with the backlog of cases in our local courts?
There is only one simple way to deal with the backlog, and that is with hard work. Very, very much hard work to do as much as you can every single day and address the backlog. That's the only way to do it. The position that we have, what we deal with on a daily basis is very difficult because we deal with some of the most important, some of the most serious problems that people have. We can't just dispose of cases by numbers and say we would try to dispose of as many cases as I can today. You have to take each case individually on a case-by-case basis and devote whatever time is necessary to address those cases. Some people want to try as many cases or handle as many cases as they can to try to move the cases as quickly as possible. I don't believe in that philosophy, but hard work is the only thing that'll get this done.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. Klein, and if you need me to repeat it, I certainly can.
No, I remember the question. It's kind of like how do you eat an elephant, right? Eat one bite at a time. There is a tremendous backlog. This court has been disposing of the fewest criminal cases during the COVID period for the entire COVID period. So what has to happen is the dockets have got to stay full. Each morning and each afternoon's docket has got to be full. And if it takes doing the entire morning with the docket and the entire afternoon. That's what's necessary. The cases have to move because the jail is at over 100% capacity. This county is sending inmates to other counties to be held, and that's costing our taxpayers money. So we have got to start moving the cases. There are a couple of new tools that are available. One is an auxiliary court that will take some of the pressure off of the courts in the backlog, but it will not solve the problem. So buckling down and taking it one bite at a time is the only way to address this problem.
Thank y'all for that. For question 2, we will start with you, Mr. Klein, and then go to Mr. Valdez second. The question is, what will be your policy with regard to continuances as a general rule?
Yeah, there probably won't be a general rule because every case has to be decided on its merits and the law. So there will not be a blanket policy about continuances. Each case will have to be looked at, the facts and circumstance of the case, the situation of the parties, the equities involved, and the interests of the community in the case will all have to be considered. So continuances will be taken just like every case, one at a time, each getting its own merit and consideration.
Great. Mr. Valdez, same question.
I agree with Mr. Klein. Continuances have to be handled on a case-by-case basis. You can't just have a general rule or rule of thumb that you use to handle all these cases or the continuances in all these cases. You have to decide the case based on the circumstances of the case, based on the particular facts of the case. And although a lot of people think that every case, for example, every murder case is the same, it's never like that. Every single case is different. Every single case has different parties. Every single case has different circumstances. And you have to take all these matters into consideration when ruling on a motion for continuance. Now, I have the added advantage of having been a trial lawyer for many, many, many years. I was a trial lawyer, have tried many, many cases. So I can put myself in the position of the lawyer who's asking for continuance and consider that also.
All right, and moving on to question number 3, and we will start with you, Mr. Valdez, and move to Mr. Klein second. So the question is, what can be done to improve access to justice for all, including persons or groups who may be underserved?
I think one of the most important things that has been done right now is the discovery of the utility or how useful Zoom is. Zoom has this process that we're involved in right now has opened up a brand new avenue for people to join in and watch. They can watch a hearing throughout the state of Texas, and it's makes hearings and makes court proceedings more accessible to the public. Now, as far as parties themselves, what you can do is make sure that you let people know, give people as much information about what is available. Many people have no idea what's available. A lot of people approach a case and say, I don't have the money to hire a lawyer, when there are resources available to the public. My job is, and I've told my staff, if we can't help somebody, we can guide them in the right direction by giving them some information that's available.
Thank you. Mr. Klein, same question.
Thank you. There's been no doubt that Zoom has opened up opportunities and access for a lot of people that normally wouldn't have had access to the courts. Even with Zoom, though, we still have problems with access to reliable internet and reliable technology that can make Zoom accessible. One of the things that I think that we need to do as a system is we need to lessen the anxiety that people have about going to court. When the courts appear to be more accessible and more manageable to the public, the public becomes more interested in the courts and is much more likely to use the courts. So I think that we need to focus on making people more comfortable with the court systems, in addition to the other tools that have already been available, like Zoom.
All right. Well, thank you all for answering those questions we had prepared. And that leads us to the closing statement. Y'all will have 1 minute for a closing statement, and we'll start with you, Mr. Klein.
Thank you. Thank you again to the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum, and congratulations to the League of Women Voters. I know that the organization recently celebrated its the 100th anniversary of women gaining the right to vote. I know that it was a couple years late in the celebration because of COVID, but I think we can all take some joy in that, and we should also be somewhat concerned that it's only been 100 years since women gained the right to vote, and that's a concern that we continue to have. The courts of this country would need to have more access, and so if I'm elected to the 148th, I will bring back respect to the court. The court will get back to work. All the people that come in front of that court will be treated with respect and courtesy and dignity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Valdez, 1 minute.
Thank you. I would like to also thank the league for putting this on. I've been doing this for so many years, and the league has always been there providing a much needed source of information for the public. So thank you for what you do. I would like to tell everybody, my name is Carlos Valdez, and I think most people know me. There's young people who have no idea who I am. And I've been serving this community for the last 40 years, and I just want to continue to serve the community. I learned a long time ago when I was a young assistant county attorney prosecuting my first DWI case that public service is what I'm called to. So I'm hoping that I get another opportunity to serve the public. I've enjoyed what I've done. People know what I can do. People have seen me, and I've literally grown up in front of everybody. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve you in the past and ask you for another opportunity in the next 4 years.
Well, thank you all so much for attending this forum. I also want to say a big thank you to Anel Neal, our Zoom flight director, and to Debbie Noble, director of our website and social media, for making this virtual forum possible. The League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area appreciates these candidates, not only for their belief in the democratic process that we all enjoy in our nation, but also for their commitment to public service and the sacrifices that they have made to participate in the campaign process. Be sure to check out the League's online voter guide at vote411.org, which is available in English and Spanish. By entering your address, the vote411.org website will produce an electronic My Ballot for your specific address and shows all of the races and candidates you will see on your 2022 election ballot. Please check the .org portion of Vote 411, as some unscrupulous actors may be attempting to redirect traffic. Printed copies of the English and Spanish state election guides provided by the League of Women Voters of Texas, and a 48-page guide to local races compiled by the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area will be distributed in mid-October. For locations, please visit the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area website at LWVCCA.org. Remember, early voting starts Monday, October 24th. The Corpus Christi League of Women Voters website also contains up-to-date election information, including early voting locations. And as a reminder, recordings of this event may not be used without express written approval of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area, and the League will only allow the audio and video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by media reporting on the event. On behalf of Catherine Oler, President of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area, as well as all of the members of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area, thank you for watching this candidate forum.
Thank you, Ms. McKay. Mr. Klein, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Klein, your case for tomorrow morning has been taken off the docket. Just wanted to let you know. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank y'all.